My name is Alex Spencer. It's the 9th of April 2024, the day after the solar eclipse. I grew up as the child of Christian missionaries, which means that I moved around quite a lot during my formative years, arriving in England, which is where both my parents are from, where I spent most of my school-aged years when I was 7. I have 3 brothers. Growing up in the church, mostly in the Anglican tradition, gave me a rich musical soil from which to grow. The communal singing every Sunday is something which I always loved, and having to sing songs which I didn't necessarily know, but just having to dive in and pick it up as you go along is an extremely valuable thing to learn. I've never had to confront the question of whether I can sing or not, which bothers a lot of people, especially singers, because I always just did sing. I'm realizing more and more that being steeped in those old hymns has also given me a harmonic education, which informs my songwriting and my ability to find harmonies. On top of this, my dad played the guitar, and there were jazz, blues, and folk records lying around at home. So I was also soaking that up. Although I'm not a Christian anymore, I think the sense that music is there to carry a message or express transcendence, awe, and wonder in some way has stayed with me. I started writing songs on the piano as a teenager, but then decided I wanted to become a jazz singer. So I listened to a lot of jazz singers: Billie Holiday, Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald, Lena Horne, Dinah Washington, Bessie Smith, the list goes on, all the greats. I built up quite a broad repertoire of standards by the time I was 20, and I was singing with a jazz band in Brighton at the time. At university, where I was studying philosophy, I was introduced to a wider range of soul music, but also great songwriters like Tom Waits, Joni Mitchell, Bob Dylan, Paul Simon, Neil Young, Anita Franco. I picked up songwriting again at the age of 22, this time with the guitar, and since then that has been my focus. Currently, I have 2 musical projects on the go. One is an EP of breakup songs, which my ex, a great musician in his own right, and I are collaborating on. The other is focusing on children's songs. My long-term musical partner and producer, Brian Trahan, and I have recorded 50 old English nursery rhymes, and we are currently working on pentatonic children's songs. Since I'm also a Waldorf teacher, I teach young children English through singing, speaking, and playing. So I have also begun to write my own children's songs, which we are also recording. My biggest challenge is simply time and, of course, money. I have so many ideas, I write relatively prolifically, and I simply do not have enough hours in the day to get everything out there that I wish to. I'm also the mother of 4, although my children are mostly all out of the house now. Balancing being a mother as well as an artist has been a worthy struggle, especially when it comes to music as opposed to other art forms like writing or painting, for example. It is very much an evening or nighttime focused art. Although I almost exclusively write in the mornings, performing and everything to do with being active in the music scene takes place in the evenings and at night, not to mention being on tour. So it's not family friendly, to say the least. The advice I would give to my younger self would be to stay with the longing. No matter how hard it is during the years when you aren't able to create the music you want to because you're raising kids, stay with the longing to be on stage creating music with other musicians. It will come. Also, forget your ideas of success or even fame. It doesn't matter in the least. The feeling you have when you perform to a tiny audience on a small stage, but who are all listening and being moved by your words and your voice, is identical, if not even more intense and beautiful, to the way Beyonce feels when she walks off the stage of a sold-out stadium. Aim for the magic, for those moments of channeling. Aim for the magic, for those moments of channeling the pure life energy that comes with music. Everything else is just a distraction. I'm not really into experimenting with unconventional mediums or techniques. I do sometimes write in open tunings, but otherwise my interest is more plumbing the depths of human experience and expressing that through words and music than any kind of particular technical things. For me, performing always comes first. I write a song, usually sitting on this couch in my room. Then when it's finished, I'll take it to one of the open mics here in Berlin to test it out in front of an audience and to get some resonance from my singer-songwriter community. I usually write songs in batches, so when I feel like a batch is finished, I'll think about how or whether it wants to be shaped into a recording project. Then, if I can find the sufficient funds, I'll take the songs to my producer and we'll work on shaping them into a cohesive sound for an album or an EP. I think the best reaction I've ever had to my music is simply when somebody says that they have been touched by it in some way. All those reactions are profound to me. One time a woman came up to me and told me that the words to one of my songs had spoken to exactly a situation that she was in. To me, art is always about alchemizing experience into meaning. If those experiences have been painful, then the alchemy is even more powerful. Hearing from people that through my music they have been able to feel something that they were perhaps avoiding feeling is the most I could ask for. My music can be found on all the streaming platforms under Alex Spencer Music and on all social media platforms. My children's songs and nursery rhymes can be found at www.school-songs.com. Thank you. Something is